Welcome to VisionCast.
Hello, motherfuckers of the internet. It is I, the one and only Simon, Hakumen, the fabulous foul-mouthed motherfucker who is pretty much from Spandicast, VisionCast, and all sorts of other crazy cool shit that nobody ever is going to watch because, let's face it, it's an internet thing about Power Rangers. Let's face it, nobody gives a flying fuck. Anyway, my fast-talking, rambling aside, hi. How y'all doing? Hope y'all doing okay. Sweet, fabulous. Right, here's the inside scoop, ladies and gentlemen, and I mean the full-on scoop of awesomeness. We're going to be talking about Sentai, PR, maybe some board news, blah blah blah. Insert my budget here. But for the record, let's introduce the players of this fabulous little poker game of insanity. Kamen Rider Decade.
Hello.
And next up, the man, the myth, the mustache, and the bloke who doesn't shut the fuck up when it comes to the lists. It is the GoldPhoenixRanger.
Hello, and you're giving me a run for my money on that for tonight.
Hooray. And my buddy from Spandex Cast, the Matt, the Red Misty himself.
What up?
Oh, bless. He has such a wonderful voice.
It's not high today.
Bless.
My voice
know.
makes hearts. My voice makes hearts on those things that show your voice. Those little waves.
He's actually not kidding. And Kurama, otherwise known as the fat guy who owns the board.
Yeah, man.
Oh, bless the Aussie bastard. We love him.
Oh my god.
Don't we just love him, guys? Come on. Let's hear some love for him.
Aww.
This is...
If you really loved him, you would know that he runs marathons now and is no longer fat.
Really? Oh, bless.
Well,
Oh,
not
yeah.
as fat, anyway.
Oh, bless this little Comzogs. And for the record, people, I'm going to be introducing the new guy. Well, the guest. And as you probably already guessed from that very smooth, sexy sort of, oh, that sounds like the voice of God. Database Ranger, hi. Introduce yourself, darling.
Greetings, Ranger fans. Hey, this is Jake, aka Database Ranger DB. Server sometimes, if you intimidate me into that name. But you guys can just call me Jake or DB, and I'm glad to be joining you guys tonight.
Huzzah, right? That's
I'm so sorry you have to join us for a host like this.
Oh, I know.
I'm so sorry.
I know, especially with Jim in the podcast. We're fucked by default.
Yeah, I'm used to somebody who freaks out every time I say spandex, so don't worry about it.
There is
there's
logic in what he says.
There was so many jokes in that I can say, but I'm not going to because, well, yeah. Anyway, so let's move on to the fabulous crap of life. Jim, I can't believe I'm saying this. Talk.
Alright, well, as I addressed in our last podcast, we are doing a slightly new format. Each of these slightly shorter podcasts will be posted one per week, each a different segment. So at the beginning of each segment, much like this, I will address any board news that might need to be addressed, just so that they get out in a timely manner, rather than having it as one point of the month. Nothing really new at the moment, just to recap certain things. Again, as I mentioned, Chris the Mole did step down from our RV staff and VisionCast, so while he may guest appear now and again, he will not be a regular appearance in the podcast any longer. Also, another staff member, Anna High, also has semi-stepped down. She's still helping the staff now and again, but is not a regular staff member any longer.
Cue
And
Red Mr. Ranger tears.
Yeah, exactly.
Hang on, does my awesomeness not get a mention? Absolutely nothing?
Yes,
That is correct.
Hakumen has joined the staff. I believe that was mentioned like 3 podcasts ago, but okay.
Well, nobody told me, but still, I'd like to point it out, it was very much against my will.
Well, congratulations on your forceful enrollment.
Mhm.
Yes, it was a case of, motherfuckers, I am awesome. Seriously, why are you guys coming to me to this? It's like, sort of, right, he's honest, right, let's get him on here. I'm like, no. And then Kage is just like, right, bitch, you're staff, deal with it. And I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Pretty much.
He did say yes.
I'd rather have you on there than Katie Wallace.
That's pretty much how I just became like president of my theater honor society last week. It's just I ran for president like 4 times prior when I actually had time. And they're like, nah. And they're like, hey Jake, you want to do this now? I'm like, but I don't have time. But Jake, president. I'm like, oh
Are you getting paid for it?
no.
Oh, dude.
Mm.
That would have been so fucking cool.
But it's something that I wanted for a while though. I
Awesome.
guess I should go ahead and fix the club.
Aw.
Bless the poor boy.
Indeed.
GP,
On a side
are-
note,
To any of my fellow Alpha Psi members who are listening, I'm joking around. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the honor.
nice enough. But yes,
Not that any of them are probably listening.
you never know. So anyway, yes, that's all. Most of our staff news. We the other thing I will mention is we do of course have some additional media masters. Again, as I mentioned in the previous news, Bruno and Mia have joined us. They're currently getting themselves together to start activating their section. The of course podcast hosted by some of our friends here, RMR and Hakumen, the Spandex Cast. That is of course now a media master as well, along with Rachel.
yeah.
So that's cool.
What the
Um,
fuck?
We're looking for more. If you know anybody that has a running podcast, web series, what have you, that would be interested in a media type alliance with Range Vision, please do shoot a private message to myself or Kurama or both. Let us know. We'll look into it.
Because we need members, so give them to us.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
or email
And
them
Kaki.
at therangervision@gmail.com.
That is correct.
the fact that Kagi needs money is not completely at all running into this.
So that's pretty much all the board news that's fit to report right now. Again, do enter our set of the season contest that RMR is running.
Yes.
If you're a banner,
Please, 'cause nobody has done anything yet, and it's kind of worrying me. Is it? I don't know what's wrong. Why aren't people signing up?
if you're a graphic artist, all you have to do is create a magic band or an avatar set, post it in the thread down in the what is it, Trials of Maranthius down there.
Yes, not
Put-
hard. You can do it.
Put it on in there. Enter. If there's no entries, if you're the one that enters, you win.
Hmm.
So do
Question.
check that out. So that's okay. Again,
Maybe I should compete. I don't know.
hey, are you a graphic artist? I don't know.
A little bit. I made my own logo and everything.
Oh, you did your little DB face logo.
Yeah, my the whole Power Reviews logo is
Nice.
something I did.
That's not bad. That's good. So the Power is Yours contest is in full swing. If you want to check those stories out, support your favorite entrant, give them ideas, support.
They are very good this year.
They are very good this year. Do check those out. And if you have any ideas for anything else,
tournament.
what's that?
Ultimate Megazord tournament.
We were going to mention that every week, but yes, of course, our Ultimate Megazord tournament is in full swing. Go vote for your favorite Megazords, or before Matt kills me, vote for the Megazord you think would win in the fight, not your favorite Megazord.
There could only be one.
We're round 8.
I don't
What
know.
did you say?
I believe we're into the round of 8, aren't we?
Yes. After we're done recording this, I'm going to post the first quarterfinal challenges.
Good. Well, stay tuned for the quarterfinal challenges. Then vote for your favorites.
No.
Be one.
So wait, if you're posting that tomorrow, then we find out the results on Sunday.
Exactly.
Good to know.
Yes. So do vote in that. Like I said, if you have ideas for contests, whatever, PM us, let us know. Answer the latest interview question. That's in there. Check that out.
No, actually, the interview's over.
You ended it?
Yeah, it's we asked all 20 questions and it's over.
Okay.
Oh.
Fair enough. Well, if you'd like to have a private interview, shoot a PM to Red Mystic Ranger.
And the next
Going-
topic.
Yes, and that is it for the board news. Back to you, Hakumen.
Thank you. I finally get a word in. When I've said in the past the GPR does not breathe, I'm not kidding. Seriously, I'm slowing down my own speed now because I nearly fell asleep just now. It's like 2 in the morning over here. Anyway,
In all fairness, I wasn't speaking as fast as you were when you opened this thing.
true, but I'm a fast-talking lunatic. That's my excuse. I stick to that.
Do you know what I call 2 a.m. in the morning? Prime editing time.
Yeah.
Jim calls that prime mustache twirling time.
Anyway.
Anyway, okay, we also got the M&M show. Is that still going, by the way?
Yes.
The show is coming up next, where Supreme Red Ranger and Red Mystic Ranger are interviewing Database Ranger and Mayonnaise.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
This is the M&M Show.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of the M&M Show. I'm your host, Mikey, aka Supreme Red Ranger, and unfortunately, I don't have a co-host with me at the moment. I might have one later on. So, we have a very special guest for you today. We have two special guests. We have Database Ranger.
Hello.
And we have Mayonnaise.
And it's Jane here.
Yep.
And how are you guys today?
Good.
Yeah, we're doing all right.
Well, I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this interview. And so let's begin with question 1. How did you guys enter into the Power Ranger fandom?
Check.
All right. Well, I've been watching. Yeah, I've been watching since back. It premiered back August 28th, 1993. First episode. I was 8 years old, so I've been watching from the beginning. I didn't get into the online fandom until I had regular access to the internet, which was around 2001-ish. Right around the time when Ranger Board was still on Easy Board. I know they just celebrated their 10th anniversary. And over the years, I've been in and out of the since then. Occasionally more. But that's been my that's kind of how I got started. I've just always been a big Rangers fan, big trivia nut.
All right. So when I was a kid, I watched the original bit. I thought Billy was pretty cool, and then they took away his glasses and they took away his overalls, and I was like, "Fuck this shit." And I didn't. I watched a few episodes of SPD, and something about it really appealed to me, which I later found out was the fact that all the makeup design was done. I could do the makeup design on Babylon 5, my absolute favorite series ever. And then there was this boy. There was this guy, and he was really cute, but he had a girlfriend, and then he didn't have a girlfriend, so I gave him a Valentine's Day card with a picture of a cyan female ranger, you know, the girl ranger blue with a heart-shaped mask, you know, heart-shaped black part on her mask, of Valentine's Day, and I asked him if he wanted to go to lunch with me, and he said yes, and then, like, 3 days later, he asked me over to dinner at his place, and we watched the premiere of Power Rangers Mystic Force. Yeah, that was DB.
And that was 7 years ago. Aww.
And you were too deep to figure out that I was asking you on a date.
Well, I figured it out when you asked me to lunch, but the Valentine, yeah, I was stupid. I'm just like, this is really nifty. She must give this to all her friends.
Yeah, the Power Ranger for.
Yes, I'm sorry.
He has this Power Rangers in Space jacket. Wait a minute. Everyone's seen the Power Rangers in Space jacket. He wears it in the web series. So that's how I figured out he was into Power Rangers. That and the fact that he showed up one time to a show that he was directing and I in with brand new Power Rangers S Megazord that he kept playing with while I was trying to direct.
Yeah, I brought the Delta Squad Megazord to our first rehearsal, to one of our first rehearsals when I was directing Trevor, which was not the first show that we were in together, but that was the first time that we really worked together.
Yep, you were the director. I was an actor.
Yeah.
Kind of like on our show, except for that you're also an actor and a writer, director of photography.
Or whatever. I'm kind of everything. I'm everything that's not the other characters.
Pretty much.
Well, that is really cool. And I'm going off of that. Mayonnaise, you said that Billy was your favorite Power Ranger until after, without the like when they
When
took
they
him.
when he stopped being an awesome, adorable nerd.
Right. So, who would you say that Billy would, even though they changed him, would you say that Billy was your all-time favorite Ranger?
Well, way back then.
Yeah.
But now?
Yes.
No, that would be Peter
Oh, cool.
Mystic. Xander,
And
I told you if you borrowed my car, I was gonna rearrange your life. Oh, girl after my own heart.
and how about you, Database Ranger? Who was your
My
favorite Ranger?
my favorite change from time. My favorite changes continually. Because it really depends on what the day of the week. I
Really
will
now?
say, yeah, I have so many that I've enjoyed in so many different respects. It's like picking children, as lame as it sounds. I will.
That's bizarre, babe.
Yes, I know. But I mean, when I first started, like way at the beginning, my favorite was Zach. He was a cool one. Like, I thought Zach was really cool when I first started. And then over time, uh, Adam and Billy each grew on me. I thought Andros was cool. I thought Eric, the Quantum Ranger, was really cool. Like Bridge and Ziggy are both really funny. So there are a lot that I really enjoy.
Notice he hasn't mentioned Tommy.
Well, Tommy's still cool. I wouldn't say that he's like one of my top favorite.
I know, and that's good because Tommy's overrated.
He is, but he's still cool. He's still good. And actually, as far as Megaforce right now, of the 5 Megaforce Rangers, I think out of the 5 right now is actually, I expected it would be Jake, but it's actually becoming Troy.
Really now? This is interesting.
Because I find his character interesting, and I find his actor actually so bad that is actually really entertaining.
Now, see, I thought I would like Noah since he's a reboot of Billy, but as it turns out, what the hell's her name?
Gia?
Gia?
Yellow?
Yellow.
Yeah,
Gia
Gia
is actually growing on me, despite the fact that Jake is growing on her.
is.
Which
Yeah.
I really
not me,
wish
that
they would have
the other.
stuck with the no, with Jake the Snake. You know, it would have been nice to see in a story a part where she's just not interested and she stays that way. Because right now in stories, every time like the girl's not interested and the guy's all like, "Oh, but I'm gonna have her," he always manages to wear her down, which is not realistic in the slightest.
Yeah.
Sometimes she's just not into you.
Well, if they keep her character like that, it would be badass. Because it would be like, okay, he didn't win, but
Yeah, but that's doing that. You can see that he's
right, but she's still like, being like, hard to get.
Yeah. She's playing it a bit more cool than most.
I thought I was gonna like Noah.
But yeah, I know that you very much want her to on the lines of "I don't need no man."
Damn straight.
Okay, who is your least favorite Ranger?
I think, are we both leaning towards the same one right now?
Probably.
Is it Mac? Is that who you're leaning towards right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing against the actor did a fine job. It's just the character was really frustrating.
Daddy used to be a Power Ranger.
Here's the thing: his actor played character perfect. This is like an inverse of Troy, where the actor is terrible, but the character is really interesting. Whereas with Mac, the actor was actually fairly likable, but the character was really bad. Just on a number of different levels. I mean, they did a bit of interesting stuff with his whole existential crisis once he found out he was a robot. That was kind of interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but they really had to work uphill to win us over after his introduction was he basically found his way into getting a morpher, which was really, I don't know what they were thinking on that respect. And then 3 episodes later, he tried to give it because it was too hard.
Yeah,
and then the whole thing with him being a bot, there was a lot of issues.
Spencer should have killed somebody.
Yeah, I heard from a lot of people that because it was a run by Disney at the time, they did the whole Pinocchio scenario for the ending.
I have no idea what they were planning. I know that they planned the whole.
Now?
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah, he did turn into a real boy at the end.
Yeah.
With Aurora. But yeah, I don't know what they handled fairly well right up in that stupid costume party. That costume party. Because the moment I saw that, I knew exactly what the answer to the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe that you went not only something as cliche as he was a robot the whole time, but you gave it away.
Right.
Like this?
Oh,
That was
okay.
so weird.
Stop.
Yeah,
We're
we
gonna have a
won't get on this
rehash
track. We'll
of
get on
that
this
Ask
track.
GB. You're gonna start screaming again.
Okay.
I may have wanted to punch the TV. So let's move on.
So yes, let's move on so you don't punch any TV. All right. Now that you gave me your answers to your favorite and least favorite Rangers, who was your favorite Power Ranger villain?
Ooh, that's a question. I mean, I have a lot, but it might be it, m- it might be Darkonda. Darkonda really changed up the game in a lot of respects, and he brought in all the interesting drama that kicked in during Power Rangers in Space. He was kind of if you follow tropes, and you might know the trope Knight of Ceres. Basically, after that point, things to get real. He was just awesome. He was nasty, treacherous. He had the 9 lives, so you could never get rid of him.
Yeah, you just gotta kill him 9 times.
Well, true. But you know, it took for it. He was tough. He was a tough dude, and he wormed his way to the top. He almost ran the whole shebang.
Yeah, if he destroyed pardon me.
If he had destroyed Astronema,
Yeah,
then
then he would have been like the ruler, and probably things would be different.
yeah, oh yeah.
So I'm trying to decide between Camille and Principal Rubberhead.
What, Elsa?
Yeah. Do I like Camille better or Elsa?
I don't know. They were very similar in a lot of respects. I mean,
Like sympathizing, humanizing villains. Sympathetic, humanizing villains.
Well, really,
But second
Camille.
command to villains who would otherwise be completely unsympathetic, except for their relation to this second.
Well, I'd say Camille was the more sympathetic of the two.
Yes, yes. But then, Principal Rubber, the thing going on with Tommy.
Yeah, a little bit, but that was. I think that was a little bit almost a power play thing on her part. I don't know how.
Yeah, she would be for him than either of those chicks from one.
I don't know. Cat was very supportive.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. A lot of people ended up with Kaylee.
Yeah, Principal Rubber.
I don't know. I like that she ended up with Mercer. I thought that made more sense, actually. Okay, so I kind of a split between those two.
For me, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I will say that Lord Zed and Mesogog and a bunch of
I
others
was
are
just
still
also
great up.
certainly really nice to see Lily's actor get a yes as Camille.
Oh yeah, she's totally good around that role. That was really impressive.
Because Lily was absolutely vapid and I wanted to punch her.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But that actress Holly Shanahan, she
Yeah.
has some good chops that I don't think anyone saw coming.
Nope.
She was definitely one of the highlights.
Pulled that out though. Oh yeah, she was totally a highlighted Jungle Fury. Her and
RJ.
yeah. Otherwise, sure.
It was meh.
And
Really
Cat
good.
Max coming back as Penguin. That was
Yeah, even though that was only for like an episode, it was still fun to see. All I actually liked. But I know we're getting a little bit off topic on the question.
there's the top.
Okay, cool.
And we'll pick a gun.
Who is your least favorite villain?
Favorite villain, as far as like as somebody who's a major villain, would probably be Grizzaka. I like Grizzaka during the series. He was kind of he really was a down point on the series for me. Just because he came, it was one of those things where it's just like immediately I don't like you because
Right.
he came in going like, oh, I'm one of the most loyal to Daishi ever. Oh wait, Daishi is possessing a human? Oh, I hate you. I'm overthrowing you now. I'm like, really, dude? I don't like you. And he was just, he was just like inconsistent and, you know, like, I don't know. There was some, he rubbed me the wrong way. I was very happy. It's all right. He's when it comes pretty. Although I'm sure there are others. How about you?
Let's see. Who are those twin idiots?
Oh, what, from Interesting?
No.
Twin idiot.
Yes. Two males, two females.
Two males, Operation Overdrive.
Oh, the
meerkats?
I don't like the Meerkats.
Okay.
They were stupid.
You didn't like them?
Most of the villains in that, you know, if I had to start picking my least favorite Rangers, I'd keep working my way through the Overcats, except for Rose. I like Rose and Spencer. And those Furious and Moltor, not fond of them either. But of course, Kelson Henderson saves the day.
I don't know. That was his weakest role, though.
It was his role, but it was better than everybody else, except for Spencer.
I'll
agree.
We'll agree to disagree on.
The stupid cats.
All right, keeping on with Power Rangers, what is your favorite Power Rangers season?
Okay, here this is pretty easy for me.
It's easy for both of us.
Yeah, I mentioned it in Ask DB. My favorite is Power Rangers in Space. I think that other seasons may have been better executed, may have had better writing or have more nostalgia factor. But Power Rangers in Space just it had such a scope to it and gives me a good warm fuzzy feeling. It was just it had a very epic story in terms of scope. It tied in with so much of continuity. The story overall was very good. The characters and their relationships were complex. The villains in particular were complex, and that was the first time that we really had that, as well as a complex relationship that was personal between the villains and heroes. It really just set the bar for everything that came afterwards, and set it quite high, I thought. So that's a little bit of why Space is my favorite season.
Cool.
RPM.
And of course Marissa's favorite is RPM, which is close for me. It was a close call.
But you know, people say Power Rangers wasn't really Power Rangers. That might be what I liked it the best. Jake is the PR fan here. The seasons that I like are actually ones that a lot of the times people feel like Power Rangers. Because that would be RPM, SPD, and Mystic Force.
Yeah, things that kind of go outside the norm
Right.
tend to be a bit more her speed, with the exception of Overdrive, because that went outside the norm in a bad way.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I think I know what your least favorite Power Ranger season is. Without even like, but for anyone who hasn't picked on, what is your least favorite Power Ranger season?
Shall we say it together, hon?
We shall.
1, 2, 3, Operate Overdrive.
I actually like that, but enough.
I mean, I understand there are redeeming factors. We'll concede that there are redeeming factors, but
It's one big chain of good job breaking it, hero.
there are so many problems. I mean, for one thing, every villain ended up getting released by the Rangers at some point, or Hartford. That was one of the things. I mean, at least I will admit, yeah, Dr. K did destroy the world, but at least she only destroyed it once.
Right.
These guys released 4 different sets of villains.
Yeah, and the Jungle Fury Rangers let Daishi out of a box, but they didn't make that mistake again and again and again. Seriously,
Yeah.
have killed them to install a little switch latch on that thing.
Yeah, I know.
A
But
little bit
yeah,
of duct tape or something. Just knock
Yeah,
it over, it falls open.
there were a lot of issues with RPM. That was another one that didn't really feel like a Power Ranger season, but in a bad way. In that it was more of like this treasure hunter.
Dear, you
series.
just said RPM instead of over.
Come
Overdrive.
over there and
throttle.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Overdrive, was very different from most other Power Ranger seasons in that it was very much like a treasure hunter type show with mercenaries, except in this case the mercenaries were Power Rangers. And it just didn't feel like a Power Ranger season, which could have worked. But then they kept the line very linear, which was, I think, a mistake. Any MacGuffin chase story, which, anytime that you have a group of people competing against another group of people to all try and find something, the thing itself they're trying to find isn't the most important part of the plot. It's the interactions they have trying to get to it.
Right.
And it felt like the MacGuffin chase was always the most important part of any episode. And it was just like every episode was just another clue in a chain, and it became very repetitive and very linear, where each one linked into another, and there was no variation off that path. They were always looking for the same jewels at the same time, even for 5 different jewels. And it was kind of contrived in that way. And then just the characters just weren't very realistic and 3-dimensional. Were very childish, which was really bizarre considering I just said that these were like mercenary Power Rangers. Ronnie going, I've never lost anything before. It's like, you're a professional race car driver. How did you make it as a professional race car driver and never lose anything? It's weird. Anything you would like to add? You don't want to keep talking about Overdrive.
Their own plot.
Yeah, there was that too.
The Rangers were so bored they had to have a clip show to remind themselves what they were doing.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
Okay. Well, gearing off a little bit of Power Rangers, besides the Power Ranger franchise, what other franchise are you guys into?
We've got a few. You want to start, huh?
Well, majorly I'm into Babylon 5, as mentioned before. I'm big into that. Big fan of the rebooted Battlestar Galactica, Farscape. I'm a major science fiction geek. I enjoy the animes. You know, the good ones though, not the long running cheesy children's ones like Pokemon and what's that one with the dog wolf thing that all the kids cosplay now?
Oh, Inuyasha?
Inuyasha, and I want to punch them. No, it's like more like Serial Experiments Lane, Hibernate and May, Neon Genesis Evangelion. The mind screws. I like a good mind screw.
And yeah, I a good amount of my stuff overlaps because I enjoy a lot of the same. We've watched a lot of the same shows together. Although I tend to lean a bit more heavily on superhero themed media. Like Spider-Man, X-Men, Young Justice. Young Justice was a great show. Oh my God, that show was fantastic. So a lot of animated action series I tend to really latch on to. I've been enjoying the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's been pretty cool.
Nice.
Yes, Avengers.
Yes, everybody loves Avengers. You can't not love Avengers. But yeah, Amazing Spider-Man and Dark Knight trilogy were also good though.
Yes, the new Spider-Man, the one that doesn't suck. Yes.
Yes. But yeah, I tend to focus a lot on various DC and Marvel superheroes and media. I'm not as much of a comic buff as I would kind of like to be, just because I don't have the time and the money to go out and get comics and keep up with everything. Although I've heard what's been going on with Spider-Man lately, and that sounds like they may have finally succeeded after all these years in finally ruining Spider-Man.
Well, it sounds a little rapey to me.
Yeah. I don't know if you follow.
Law and Order SVU. I like that one too. And Criminal Minds. I love my crime dramas. I didn't mention the crime dramas. I love the crime
You
dramas.
have the best segues.
Sorry, but the whole Doc Ock thing kind of freaky.
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't know if you follow Spider-Man at all, but
Oh yes.
yeah, the whole thing with Dr. Octopus taking over Peter Parker's body and Peter Parker being dead, but kind of, sort of, but also a little Jiminy Cricket in his head. It's just, I don't want Dr. Octopus inside Peter Parker's body and that be Spider-Man. That's just.
And I don't want Dr. Octopus inside Mary Jane's body.
Yeah, I think they've put the kibosh on that at this point.
Good. That's kind of rapey.
Yeah, they were riding the edge of things there, but I think they knew when to say when at that point. Hopefully. I swear, Dan Slott just wants to mess with people. That's like the whole point.
That's why they got rid of JMS.
That was a good run. I did like that run, even though it ended roughly with the war down.
To tie this together, for people who aren't following Babylon 5, my absolute favorite series ever, JMS, the creator of that show, also writer of Spider-Man up until One Last Day.
One more day.
One more day.
And then I also watch a bunch of anime too, as well.
Very nice. And this leads on to my next question. Like, who's your favorite superhero?
I mean, it's kind of all outside of Power Rangers.
Yeah, outside of Power Rangers.
Power Rangers is kind of a given.
Right.
It's probably been Spider-Man, even though there's been a lot of difficult stuff with his media. I like his I like his character and I like his arc. I like his story. He's fun, he's snarky, but he's still got a lot of dark stuff. He's in certain ways he has a very similar background to Batman, who's super badass dude. But he takes it a lot more stride, even though he has a lot more rough stuff to deal with. And I like that. It's kind of, it's kind of, even though I may just a lot of times with how he's presented in various media, the concept of the character I think is I guess you could say actually inspirational.
Movieverse Iron Man.
Nice.
Fair enough. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is amazing.
Yes, and I have to say the direct runner-up, like just on his heels, is, of course, Movieverse Bruce Banner Avengers version, not the guy who did the Hulk movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Avengers
Mark
version,
Ruffalo as Bruce Banner.
is so much awesomer. He's like Billy, good Billy, original Billy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
In
Avengers
my
Hulk.
secret, I'm always angry. God, I love him. But yeah, I haven't seen enough of him for him to overtake Tony Stark yet.
It's great to finally see superheroes being done right in media. It's taken so long, but they're finally getting there, and it's so nice to see.
Right. I totally agree.
I am so looking forward to seeing the third Iron Man movie. It's out now, babe. We gotta go
Yeah,
see it.
yeah, I know. It came out on Friday.
I know.
I was thinking of seeing it this weekend, but then I realized that you were going out of town.
Yeah, no, we have to see that because Pepper Potts gets in a suit.
Yeah, I heard that, which is kind of crazy.
I don't know what the circumstances are, but I want to see Pepper Potts in an Iron Man suit, man.
Yeah, I had no idea that was a thing until somebody told me. I'm like, really? That's a thing?
Yeah.
Cool.
By the way, that's like our relationship. If you want to like mark point for that, it's like he's Tony Stark and I'm Pepper Potts. It's like he's like, I'm gonna make all this crazy stuff, but I'm like, I will make sure that there is still food.
I like that. I like that analogy a lot. Moving on, who is your favorite villain out of Power Rangers, of course?
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
And villain doesn't have to be from the Marvel and DC comic book era.
Right, right.
No, clearly not.
Ooh, that is a good question. Favorite villain? I'm not sure. I'm looking over at our DVDs to see if I
Me
can get
too.
It's a favorite movie villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something to be said for Scorpius.
Yeah, but that's a TV villain though.
He didn't say
Did you say Did you say
I
movie
just
or
said
just any villain?
I just said any villain
villain.
Oh, any villain. Okay.
outside of Power Rangers.
Oh, but then there's Hexadecimal.
Oh, I
She-
love Hexadecimal
she is
from
fun.
Reboot.
We love Reboot. We love Reboot.
Oh wow.
Jake has the whole DVD set, even though it's
Yeah.
on our Netflix anyway.
I thought I
Yeah.
was the only one that enjoyed that.
Oh no, we're with you. Ah, damn. Cavill. What about Cavill, babe?
Oh, from Galactica.
The Cavill model Cylons.
He was pretty good. I don't know if I classify him as a favorite. Morden was also good.
Yeah, I think
He was-
more to the side because he's more a pawn than a villain. He comes across as a villain. You think he's a villain, but then you find out he's a pawn.
Yeah. I'm trying to think because there are plenty of classic villains, so it's hard to. I'm just trying to think of different characters in different media that I think.
Ooh, what about Marissa Coulter?
Who?
His Dark Materials.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would be your end. You're more familiar with them, but yeah, I remember who you're talking about. That was the character played by Nicole Kidman in the movies.
Right.
Oh, now that you've said that, I just thought of a good villain that I like.
Ooh.
Paddin Fane from
Oh,
Time.
yeah, you would. Jake is a huge Wheel of Time geek.
I totally forgot to mention Wheel of Time before. I love the Wheel of Time. I can't wait to finish it. So no one spoil me on book 14. I need to get it. I haven't had time to read it. But I just love it whenever Paddin Fane shows up because you never know what that guy's up to. And he's apparently super powerful, but you don't know exactly what he can do. He's a really cool villain. I like him. Whether or not he's my favorite villain overall, it's hard to say, but he's definitely a good one. I like him. We're a good handful of villains.
Yeah, because like majority of my favorite stories don't really have a specific villain. A lot of them are just dystopian type stories or system stories where the bad guy is an entire organization rather than a person. There's no, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm on the other of the spectrum where I tend to like series that have like full-on rogues galleries. So there's
Yeah.
like tons to choose from.
So I mean, you could have the shadows, but there's no specific shadow.
Right, exactly. Same sort of thing there. They were cool enough. I'm trying to think if there's anyone specifically from like Young Justice who was like amazing.
Does Garrett count as a villain?
Does who?
Garrett,
Garrick?
just a simple tailor. As it turns out, he's a Cardassian spy.
Oh, that was what, Deep Space Nine?
And he was a defected Cardassian spy, so he was pretty much like all himself. He wasn't for either side. So is he a villain or is he? He's kind of a piggy kind of character.
That's a good point. It could be interpreted either way. So yeah, I feel like we've meandered without actually giving you necessarily a proper answer.
Well, that's okay. You
I mean,
named off a few villains.
Yeah.
That...
Oh, and I could think of one more that can be that's a good answer. Joker, Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, as long as it's not Bane.
As long as what?
As long as it's not Bane. It sounds
Bane-
like this Doubtfire with a voice modulator.
He was fun. He was campy. But I mean, Joker overall is a great villain in a bunch of different forms.
Is Ikari Gendo a villain?
If you want to classify him, I think that's very subjective. You take your pick.
It's Gendo.
Very nice.
Do-do-do.
All right, getting back to Power Rangers for a little while. This question is personally for Mayonnaise.
Oh, just for
Okay.
me.
What inspired you to do the character Dr. K?
Oh, that's an easy one. Okay, so we're watching RPM, and Jake has apparently already seen some test footage or something. What was that, babe? Like a
There was a leaked promotional trailer it was an internal trailer.
that showed Dr. K, and he's telling me that I'm just gonna love this thing, and I just gotta wait, and I just gotta wait, and I just gotta wait. And then as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh my god. And then we just looked at each other and go, she looks just like you. And so I was like, well, there's my cosplay for Power Morphicon 2. Because I mean, I was already in love with the character over the intercom. I was like, this person is cool. They're snarky and smart and everything I love. And this series is actually the best Power Rangers I've seen so friggin' far. So yeah, it was just like that's what's gonna happen. It was very similar back with Mystic Forest when I was like, well, I know what I'm dressing up for Power Morphicon 1. And I was Vita.
Yeah, so actually, the
It's
Dr.
because I'm
K.
a cosplayer.
Yeah, the Dr. K character in Power Reviews was largely created in part because we already had the Dr. K cosplay from Power Morphicon 2.
Mm-hmm.
And because I can do the voice.
And she does a very good impression of Dr. K, as we've established, and as many of our fans have told us.
Mm-hmm.
She was never actually supposed to be.
What was that?
She was never actually supposed to be what she wound up being.
Yes, she was originally introduced with a little bit of a different intention than what we ended up going for. I'm not going to tell you too much because there's a bit of spoilers there, but I wanted to have some Power Ranger characters do like cameos when I was first thinking of Power Reviews. I thought that would be a fun gimmick. And after a while, I thought about the logistics of trying to find different people all the time, and Marissa was just so good with Dr. K that I decided that I wanted to make her the full-on co-host and recurring character. And I ended up building her plot line around the fact that, I having her as a recurring character would be a lot of fun. And that was kind of
she's
what
kind of
was
one
the
of those.
inspiration.
What's the trope, babe? Ascended extra.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And then now she's become, obviously.
Role, and she became a full role.
Yeah, but that was really all connection, so she full on role very quickly.
It took us a while to wind up getting to Mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Because Dr. K was so popular.
Yeah, the Dr. K character, as you can tell, has very much evolved into a major story driver. for the show.
Whereas
Um,
Mayonnaise is my personal avatar. She says a lot of stuff that I actually have opinions of. Like, I spent most of the Megaforce premiere of the television.
Yeah, she really when I gave her the mayonnaise. When I told her how mayonnaise was going to be reacting to the first episode of Megaforce, it's like I'm just going to give her opinions from that first episode.
Yes! Because my opinions don't get into these things a lot. People, I had somebody on YouTube ask if like, it's like, I'm not sure whether this is Mayonnaise' opinion or Dr. K's opinion, but when you're saying this, then it's like, I'm sitting there going, oh, that's Dr. K, he's written that way. Actually, neither Jake nor I feels that way. It's just, K's lines are K. So
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
I'm
that,
K's a
oh,
character.
I'm sorry. I butted in.
No, it's fine. Hey, you're the host.
I'll just talk right over, but don't interrupt me.
Okay, so that's really cool, and Dr. K is a interesting character. I'm using her in one of my fan fictions,
Oh, me too.
but not like as the main character, but as a mother to one of the children of the Power Rangers, like
Oh, cool. Who's the father?
Ziggy.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
big. Good.
That was a test, sir. You passed.
oh, good. I'm glad I passed.
Fan fiction that's actually taking place. It's canon compatible. It's little vignettes in between episodes of RPM.
Oh yeah.
It's called Alphabet Soup. There's going to be 26 chapters, but I think I'm only up to like 12 right now.
Oh, nice.
And they're each titled with a letter, but they're not in alphabetical order because it's Alphabet Soup.
Okay, cool.
I think you started with T, if I remember right.
Yes, T is for Thanatos. Thanatos.
Yeah.
I can't spell it. The Greek god of death. And
Yeah,
self-destructive.
I was kind of her
He
beta
has
reader for
serious
that.
issue with self-destructive behavior on account of serious self-confidence issues on account of, causing the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right.
We act as beta readers for each other.
Oh, nice.
Jake more for me than vice versa because Jake actually knows everything there is to know about Power Rangers, whereas I can only really say, from a story point of view or a grammar point of view, I can't really be a major like, oh, well, you've got a continuity problem right here.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't see that series.
Well, I use you to bounce off things when I do the scripts.
Oh yes, I definitely help
fit.
for the Power Review scripts.
Yeah, when I want to check to see if you think something's funny or fits your character properly, and occasionally she includes I include her jokes.
Like, babe, that's not funny. That's actually potentially offensive.
Okay, this question is for a database.
All right,
how did you come up with the ideas for your podcast?
Oh, for the web series, you mean?
Yes.
Well, I mean the earliest inclusion. I apologize. There's a
fire
truck in the background. If I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I think the earliest inklings of Power Reviews really started back in 2007. Was when we were watching Operation Overdrive
and shouting at the TV.
We were just continually riffing it forth, and we were joking how it would be funny for us to make riff tracks for Power Rangers at some point.
Yes.
And then that never led to anything. But years later, at Power Morphicon 2, I saw Linkara do his little. They did a little riffing of Shell Shocked. I'm curious who he was because I hadn't been following his work at that time. But I understood, okay, he's apparently a big deal online. So I looked him up, found that guy with the glasses, ended up watching a lot of his stuff, Nostalgia Critic.
Nostalgia Chick.
Nostalgia Chick as well. Browse Held High is
God, I love Browse Held High.
That one's one of my favorites. And after watching it for a couple months, I'm like, you know what? This is pretty cool. I could do something like this. And I've been looking for a project because I'm very project oriented. I like having things to work on. And for a long time, I was doing theater very regularly. But at the time, my job situation didn't really allow me to commit to a rehearsal schedule because I often worked evenings and weekends, which is when rehearsals usually were. So I couldn't really commit to acting. So I was doing tech, but I missed performing. Um, so I thought, you know what, this could be a fun thing to do. And I'd of course do it on Power Rangers because I'm a huge Power Rangers nerd. And it occurred to me that
These Smarties are brown.
Power Rangers. I don't want to know why the Smarties are brown. Power Rangers actually fit the format surprisingly well when you think about it. I didn't actually fully realize it until after the first episode came out. That what I was doing with Power Reviews was I was taking pre-existing footage, editing it with original footage of myself, and inserting my own narrative. So I'm basically Rangering Power Rangers. And that just kind of blew my mind once I realized what it was that we were doing. I'm like, okay, I need to do this. Because I really like, I've always loved overanalyzing the show ever since I was a little kid.
Have you ever?
So I figured it would be good to do a creative expression of that, and I thought about it a little bit on what I would want to do, how I'd want to set myself apart from others, and I decided that I wanted to do a storyline, but I wanted to do it a little differently from the way that I've seen other people do it. Um, and it's coming into play now, so I don't feel quite so bad about mentioning it because anyone who watched it for the first 19 episodes, 20 episodes, there was no real sign of a defined story. And now these past seven, the story kind of came into and it came into full gear where everything was starting to get serialized and there were things constantly happening moving forward characters. And that's all been very deliberate. I wanted to have a an ongoing story that starts right from the first episode, but is very slowly and gradually introduced. And there's a lot of actual little bits of foreshadowing and character development that takes place during those first 20 episodes to get us
And
to the.
since nobody in the audience really caught on to them, I had to listen to him explain them to me over and over and over and over again for his personal satisfaction.
Yes, that's true. I tend to talk about things a lot when I'm not when I'm not working things. I like to talk about to kind of just get them out and get them straight with myself. And I love to talk to Marissa, even though I know that she doesn't always necessarily need to hear about it. But so she is actually the only person who knows the plan, all the plans for the future of the show, and we do have a lot. Um, Obviously, a lot of stuff is tied into what just happened with the. At the time of this recording, the mid-season finale would have just aired, and the events at the end of that are obviously going to push forward the story for the rest of the year, even if it won't be immediately apparent over the course of the next few episodes. It's going. We've introduced some very important driving questions that will carry through to the end of the year.
Well, that is very cool.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another question, and it's a spoiler alert for all the people that live in London, because they're not able to view Megaforce yet. But I want your opinions on this. What do you think about Megaforce so far, and what are your expectations for Super Megaforce?
Hun, do you want me to go first, or would you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not very good at this.
Okay, that's fine. You can think over your opinion. I've already got all my opinions in my head. Um,
Cool.
I've expressed them every week. Megaforce, as a whole, has been very hit and miss for me. I think that they're finally starting to get a bit of what they're aiming for, which is they're trying for that MMPR feel. And just like I know that they're trying to do that with Samurai, they really succeed with Samurai, but I think they're finally starting to get the hang of it with Megaforce. The writing is still very rough, very hit or miss. When the show is good, it's pretty good, but pretty good. And when it's bad, it's hilariously bad. I think Samurai was mostly when it was bad, it was more because it felt very phoned in and apathetic. But with Samurai, with Megaforce, it just we get lines like, you know, are you some kind of superhero? And I didn't know Zords could turn into robots, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I have to stop you there. When I saw that episode, I was like, lady, you haven't known about the Power Rangers for 20 years?
That one.
Hey, the Power Rangers didn't seem to understand the Power Rangers in the first episode.
Right.
Yeah,
Been at this for 20 years.
Right.
Yeah,
So go
I don't
on.
know what they're thinking with stuff when they try, because they try to respect continuity at times, and simultaneously they act as though nobody knows anything about the Power Rangers, which is really strange. It's a bizarre contradiction, and I don't know what they're going for with it. And I really don't know where to place the blame other than the writers ill-equipped to the task. And I don't want to bash them or anything, although I often do. Um, but I gather, and this is solely through just like whispered rumors. It seems as though originally with Samurai, what they tried to do was costs, so they wouldn't have to go through the Writers Guild. They classified it as a translation of Shinkanger. They hired translation writers instead of screenwriters to save money, because there's a different pay scale for that. So these are all people who had worked primarily on translating anime and things like that. And now they're no longer bound by that, from what I can tell, because they're no longer crediting the specific Gosei episodes like they were doing with the Shinkanger episodes. So it seems like they backtracked on that because there was a lot of backlash against that from the fandom. And I think Saban never really signed off on that. I think it was Jonathan Zakor trying to find a way to trim the budget and did it in a way that was not positive. And they wanted to have more of that MMPR feel, which was a bit more creative. But I think but they kept the same writers from Samurai, and I think these people are not people who are used to writing original stories.
Right.
So they're very hit and miss. It seems to be very much a learning curve for them. I feel a bit bad because it seems like they're in a situation that they shouldn't necessarily be in. But that's my interpretation. I would love to see more experienced writers on the show. If they could get, because I believe that Amit Baumick, who's not a writer, but has done some good stuff. He did, Reinforcements from the Future and Forever, which were very good in my opinion. Very enjoyable at the very least. And I heard tell that he may have some involvement with Super Megaforce. I don't know if there's any truth to that rumor. I hope that he, just because I know he has a lot of historical knowledge for the show, and that's what this writing team really needs. If Super Megaforce is going to be successful, they need to have, at the very least, experienced writing consultants like Amit Baumick, like Judd Lynn, I would love to see Judd Lynn come back. Doug Sloan, who I know works at Disney for the most part now, would also be great to have. Tony Oliver is also nice to have on hand if they would let him do more than just write Bulk and Spike bits. But that would be my hope for Super Megaforce. They get some, along with classic Rangers, some of the classic writers to help out the new guys and the season upright. Do continuity respect. So those are my thoughts on Megaforce and my hopes for Super Megaforce. I think that was hopefully answered your question there.
Very nice. Thank you.
It's okay. I hope it doesn't go back like it did in the first episode.
Yeah, she was not a fan of the first episode.
Oh, really?
I liked it better when I saw it the first time. It was called Day After.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
she felt it was way too much of a rehash, and I can't blame her on.
yeah, nothing beats Day of the Dumpster. I mean,
Lots of things beat Day of the Dumpster, but a rehash of Day of the Dumpster does not beat Day of the Dumpster.
Yeah, there's that.
well, for me, at least, Day of the Dumpster is like my all-time one of my favorite episodes.
There's a certain nostalgia feel to it that's very hard to replace, I will admit. Marissa can feel free to disagree with me on that.
Right.
The box set of Babylon 5.
So, do you have Mayonnaise any opinion on what you think of Megaforce and your expectations for Super Megaforce?
I think it's okay, and I hope it doesn't go back like it did in the first episode.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Much time thinking about this sort of stuff, except for what are my lines? You didn't give me a monologue again, didn't you?
All right, fair enough. Well, database, you brought up my last question for you guys.
Okay.
My last question is, if you could bring any ranger back for the 20th anniversary, who would they be?
Ooh. Bring back any ranger for the 20th anniversary.
Yeah, any ranger, no holds bar.
If we brought back Trini, would Three Trang be alive again?
No, that would be magical.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's not exact. I'm assuming that's not what you mean, but
No,
I did
like
say no
you
holds
done,
barred, that's why I was asking.
like with
yeah,
Trini and Udana, because their characters, I mean, the actresses died in real life, then, they
right,
can't come back.
I
yeah,
need no Rita either, but she's not really a ranger.
Right.
No
Um,
Misty Mother.
yeah.
Ziggy.
What was that, Ziggy?
Ziggy.
It'd be fun to see Ziggy. It's really hard to say. There are so many.
Rich.
I mean, a part of me would love to see.
Can Boom be a real orange ranger?
Can Boom come back as an Orange Ranger? Great. I mean, a part of me would love to see the Phantom finally addressed, just because that's always been a hanging plot point.
Brother
Mhm.
sisters, they can bring Chip. Zan has to stay home. Isn't it?
Um, I mean, it would be great to see Billy again, see what he's been up to on Aquitar.
Right.
Glasses.
I think it would be great to see David Yost on the show again, in part
It would be so great.
because he had such a negative experience upon leaving the show.
Right.
That him returning to the show would be a good sign that everybody's finally been able to move on and kind of make amends. I think that would just be emotionally really great if that could happen.
Did something and then left again, he could leave a good note instead of a shit note.
Yeah,
Right.
like there are a few characters who left on something of a sour note, and it would be great to see them again.
Can we bring back and kill him?
Can we bring back who?
Can we bring back Benta and kill him?
We'll see. I heard he was at.
Sick children.
I don't know, but yeah, like for instance, Billy would be a very good example
Yes.
of
Right.
someone who never who left on a sour note, and it'd be great to see him come back. Valerie London, formerly Valerie Vernon, now Valerie London, who played Kendrix, it would be nice to see her come back, because she did leave because of an illness. Although she did come back for Trakina, really didn't get to see much of her, which was a bit of a shame.
Mhm.
Amy Jo Johnson, Kimberly would also be in to see, just because she's distanced herself so much from the show over time. Not because she's ashamed of it or anything, just because she's tried to move. She's takes her career very very seriously and doesn't much look back. It'd be interesting to see her again, even though I think that's unlikely.
Right.
But those are examples. You might disagree with me on what interesting to see her again.
No, I'm saying I think Amy Jo might disagree with you. Like you said, she's trying to distance herself from the show. And I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
know.
it would be nice to drag anyone back against their will.
Oh no, I'm not suggesting against her will, but I'm basically, these are the people who, like I said, have parted necessarily it doesn't seem like has necessarily been the most separation, and it would be nice to see a reconnection. That's a sign that you know what, this this is good memories for them. This was a good part of their life.
What if it wasn't good memories for them?
Well, that's kind of my point. Seeing if it could become that, could turn a negative into a positive.
I'm sorry, Peter just strikes me as like the Ninth Doctor. It's like, fuck this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm saying she's an example of someone who people think of very often as not having the best relationship with the show. And if that could be any way improved, I think that would be nice. But I think Billy would be a better example. I think
Right.
Billy's probably the
Best example.
Oh yeah.
Yes, she. I'm sorry. I just have a. It seems to be more along the lines of less that she had a bad experience on the show and more that she does not want to be associated with it.
Yeah, which is fair.
As opposed to in the case of Dave Frost, where I think he did a fairly good job, and rather enjoyed the character. He just couldn't deal with the working environment being so hostile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hostile working environment. There's a lawsuit there somewhere.
Yeah, he is. Anyone who wants to know the details of that, check out Spandex did a very interview with him that explains his experience. But yeah, I'd say probably Billy actually. I talk about like, I because you always want to find out what the deal was with him, but Billy would be a really interesting character. He's one that we haven't seen.
I mean, if Tommy Oliver can become a doctor.
Oh my God, Billy's probably president of Aquitar at this point.
Oh yeah. He's probably like the ruler, the first human ruler.
Oliver never stated to be academically successful, and yet he's a doctor of paleontology. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Billy must get the even greater.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I think we've come to agreement. Billy would be good to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that too. I would like to see the character of Billy. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this interview. That just wraps it up for this series of the M&M show. I'd like to thank all the viewers for listening in. Thank you so much. And I would like to say thank you to Mayonnaise. And I'd like to say thank you to Database Ranger for taking time out and doing this interview.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, have a happy.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Yes, I had lots of fun. And this is Mikey, aka Supreme Red Ranger, for the M&M show. And talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Well.
The M&M Show.
Oh, and thank you, darlings, for that wonderful interview. We've also got the monthly reviews. Roll it. And by roll it, children, I mean, let's get on with it before I die of old age.
All right, then. Since Hakumen's dying of old age over there, we'll move on to our monthly review segment. This is a sort of a new segment we're doing. Rather than having a formerly bi-monthly Power Rangers and Sentai news recap, we figured what we'll do is once a month, at the beginning of a month, in this case, the beginning of the month of May, we'll recap all the goings-on of Power Rangers, Sentai Toku, etc. of the previous month, sort of to give everybody a chance to recall what they saw, what they thought, what was going on. As was pointed out, unfortunately, we did only have one episode of Megaforce for the month of April. But it was not a bad episode. And we also, of course, had some Kyoryu and some Kamen Rider Wizard. So, who'd like to talk about what?
Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Huzzah!
Would you like to start, Kurama?
I will. Well, we'll start with Kyoruga for the month. Most recently, they have gained their sixth Sentai Ranger, Kyoryu Gold, who commands the Patera Frideno, which is basically a pterodactyl, more or less, and it's fucking awesome. His sword
It's basically the pterodactyl but made masculine because of the stereotype.
Yeah, pretty much. His sword is about 8 foot long.
So he's Sephiroth?
It's freaking wicked. The
His
beast
sword looks
battle.
like a freaking pterodactyl beak. It's
So
awesome.
his
Yeah.
sword is 8 foot
Oh,
long.
I can't wait until I actually start watching that. I always avoid
Yeah.
the Sentai.
Oh,
to avoid the
Kyoryu is
spoilers.
amazing.
As do I.
I'm looking forward to seeing it in, I don't know, 10 years, whenever it makes
Yeah,
it.
whatever. Also,
Yeah,
if you want to know what Database Ranger thinks of Go Busters, check out the latest Ask TV.
I'll give you a hint. I haven't seen it.
You have to see it. It is the best Sentai ever.
I love how the fact that he just went into like sort of serial killer, I'm going to kill you and your children mode there, with the way he said it.
I haven't seen it.
but back to Kyoryu. With his finishing move, with his sword is called the Xander Thunder. So when he uses his finishing move, he aims his sword at his opponent, but doesn't actually touch his opponent. It sends an electric shock through the ground towards his opponent, and as it hits his opponent, the words Xander Thunder actually appear in mid-air, and he yells it out, Xander Thunder, as he's attacking.
That's
Interesting.
pretty cool.
So if he gives that sword to the Green Mystic Ranger, does it become Plan Xander Thunder?
Oh.
I was gonna say, am I the only one who now envisions him just kind of looking at the Kyoryus and looking at the bad guys, pulls out his sword, and he's just like, "It's time for Plan Xander." And the Kyoryus
That happens.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna let you finish and everything, but I'm just gonna say that the Swap Megazord had the best finishing move of all time.
Yeah. We also have with the revelation of Kyoryu Gold, we also still have 3 unknown Kyorugas to appear. We do know the actor for Bonpachi's Ranger. What is he? He is Kyoryu Gray. So he shall be appearing very soon within the series, and hopefully we'll get to see all 10 of the Kyorugas in one battle scene, because that's just going to be brilliant. And yes, there is going to be one extra, but he's going to be a movie ranger.
How much you want to bet come the adaptation? They're all going to be Spirit Rangers.
Oh,
It's
that's
another.
more or less. The only one that isn't a Spirit Ranger is Kyoryu Gold, because he actually joins the main team.
Right. Well, he's a six. There's always a sixth Ranger, but that's why everything else was subsequently Spirit-fied.
Actually, we're gonna find out they are all Spirit Rangers, and the only one who's actually alive is Haley Joel Osment.
I approve.
But the best part is that we do get an awesome Bruce Willis Ranger later on.
Nice.
Yes.
Until
And
he
then
gets thrown back in time and his past self tries to kill him.
and then
It does
switching
happen. That'd be phenomenal.
switching
more
over
phenomenal.
to Kamen Rider Wizard. He actually has, I believe, as far as we've been told, this will be his final form in the series, which is his Infinity form. It looks fucking awesome. His weapon is fucking awesome. Kamen Rider Wizard in general is fucking awesome.
Of course, he has a cape. And is camper than Christmas. In which case, camper than Jeff. Of course, he's bloody brilliant.
And if anybody wants to know what his Infinity form looks like, just look it up on Google Images.
That's not necessary. We'll put a handy link to that image down below the video when we post it.
Or I'll
Yeah,
put
absolutely.
the image
It's
up.
very shiny.
You can
So
put the
shiny.
image on, you know.
It is very
Yeah.
funny.
Well, actually, to put it as Emily would, he's so sparkly.
Dude, that sounded so fucking creepy there. Don't do that again.
What are you
I don't-
talking about? I don't understand.
Okay, don't get me wrong. It sounds very smooth and very sexy, and we love you for it. But it
Oh,
sounds
thank you.
very
Oh
funny.
yes, and
It's like
in the
GLaDOS from
Yeah.
GLaDOS from Portal.
Actually, I did once have my voice manipulated into GLaDOS from Portal for a party. It was good times.
You could do that? Okay.
It
Dude,
was.
oh,
Yeah.
As I said before, I am rather involved with theater, and I know some good sound guys.
Ah, fair enough.
But yes, in Kamen Rider Wizard, there is also the man known as Kamen Rider Beast. He loves mayonnaise, by the way.
I think she's
She's
taken.
mine. She's mine, dude. Back off.
But he eats mayonnaise on everything, like, and I mean everything.
Am I gonna have to knock some sense into a beast? Let's see who the real beast is here.
Sounds like a challenge. It's on now.
Oh snap!
But yes, so keep an eye out for future episodes of both Kyoruga and Wizard. Wizard is nearing its end. It's only got, I think, about 15 episodes to go. So it's getting close to the end. So we'll start to see bosses starting to appear a bit more and better battles. So it's going to be good.
Fair enough. So now I need to address the next question that I think I already know the answer to. Has anybody besides me and Jake actually seen the last Megaforce episode?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Hey, that's good to hear.
All right, good. So who wants to talk about it?
Why don't we let Jake take
Matt, go.
Oh,
You want Jake to do it? Okay, that's fine.
Hey, what?
oh, you want me to talk about it? I can.
Which I don't care. Whoever.
Well, I suppose since I heard my name somewhere, that I think that means I have to talk.
I don't know if you want to. I know you're. I think that's the one that you have yet to review. So I don't know if you want to spoil your opinions.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil too much. Hopefully, yes, that is going to be my next review for our mid-season premiere coming back May 19th. Which may be before or after this comes out. I have no idea. But I thought that it was a definitively average Megaforce episode. It wasn't like it wasn't a sign of a very good one or a very bad one. It was just it was a very average Megaforce episode.
Has there been good ones?
What was that?
Has there been good ones?
Have there been good ones? Well, I mean, on the Megaforce scale, I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, the Megaforce has been very hit and miss for me. It's had good moments. I like the cast. It's just the writing. It's still the same writing team from Samurai. They're slowly improving, but it's very much apparent that they are not accustomed to original writing.
So it's a bit shit, to put it delicately.
Just a little bit. We definitely had plenty of moments though that I will be making fun of with the next episode of Power Reviews.
Yes, the singing about the flowers that suddenly sprouted, and the fact that
Actually, I was gonna say I think this episode was lacking a bit of Emma singing because it's absolutely the most amazing part of Megaforce yet.
Yeah, but with that,
I'm one of the very. I think I'm one of the very few people who actually thinks that Who's Crying Now is the best Power Rangers episode I've seen in like the past 3 years.
well, that's not hard.
That's true.
Considering considering even the worst episode of Megaforce is still better than 90% of Samurai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Well,
the
here's
worst
the thing.
episode?
The difference between Megaforce and Samurai to a large extent is Samurai was very apathetic, whereas when Megaforce is bad, it's hilariously bad. It's still it's either okay and somewhat entertaining when it's good, or when it's bad, it's really like funny bad.
But it's when I sit down and watch it with my nephew, he loves it, and I think obviously this is a kid show, and I think it's doing its job for the kids, but as for the older fans, not so much.
Yeah, they need to bump up their skills on the writing, I think.
Yeah, and I think, especially talking about hilarious, I think Jake will agree with me on this. Once Megaforce is said and over, do we not need a spin-off called the Mr. Burley Show?
Oh my god. It could be like, oh, welcome back, Cotter, and everything.
Exactly.
Hey, we can get Jordan, Roy, and Barry all up in there.
There you go.
And what do you guys think? Like specifically with Megaforce, the lack of side characters, because there's like you get two, and that's it basically, apart from Tenso and Gosei.
Well, actually, with Megaforce, it doesn't bother me as much because it's better than a lot of other seasons that we've gotten in terms of side characters. Generally speaking, if we get two, we're lucky.
Yeah, like most other seasons, there's at least 3 or 4, like excluding the mental and a sidekick.
Well, I think it depends on the season too, because when sidekick characters or extra characters are done well, it really adds a lot to the season, in my opinion, because you get to see how other characters react to the Rangers or react to their characters when they're not Rangers and finding out that they're Rangers. But when they're done, terrible, cough, samurai, cough.
Well,
It detracts from the series.
By side characters, do you mean civilian characters?
Yeah, like
okay, because generally we do not get many civilian characters.
Yeah,
I mean, we had Vulcan Spike last time.
Yeah, like in Dino Thunder, we got Cassie and Devon.
Yes, I know. But when you look at, say, Lightspeed Rescue, Lost Galaxy, Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, I think, only had Kelly as far as the only civilian character.
See, Wild
SPD,
Force,
everybody was still an ally for the most part, not really civilian.
Yeah, I think the most civilian characters you had was in MMPR, where you had Ernie, Ms. Appleby, Mr. Kaplan, later on Lieutenant Stone, Bulk Skull, obviously. I mean, that had more than any other season.
So I wouldn't say that that Megaforce is really lacking, and they've had more one-off characters than we've had in a while, which is actually refreshing to me because it's really a throwback.
Yeah. Well, I think with the one-off characters, the one that I did like was that dickhead who kept going around saying he was the Red Ranger.
Yeah, Jordan.
Oh, get out of here! He was the worst.
He seems to be a very divisive character. A lot of people either really like him or really hate him. But I thought that he played it well.
Oh, he played the douchebag part well, and it really came across.
Yeah. It's a matter of whether or not you want to see the douchebag.
I think he played a better douchebag than the Vulcan Skull ripoffs.
Yeah, a little bit. It was a very different kind of joke. And really, he was obviously just kind of desperately looking for attention, as opposed to them who were actively mean.
Yes, I think we're pretty much done.
That's about that. We're kind of going off topic a little bit here. So
sorry.
I could actually speak.
Go right ahead.
I was gonna say my favorite side character, one-off side character, had to have been in Wild Force. Danny's girlfriend. That was an amazing character, and it brought a lot to the Rangers, Danny specifically. But it furthered character development, which you don't see a lot of in Power Rangers, and especially not from side characters.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Shame she was only in 2 episodes.
Yeah, but she did more in those 2 episodes than a lot of side characters did in 10.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Compared to anything in the new Saban era, she provided actual supportive character development, which we really haven't gotten out of Vulcan Spike or Mr. Burley, and I'm sorry, I'm still calling him Shailesh.
Yeah, no, you don't justify that name.
Yeah, I'm not gonna dignify that reference because I feel like, personally, I find it disrespectful to the actor's memory. I know other people don't agree with me, but I feel like it just doesn't feel right. unless they actively reference him knowing Ernie, like,
Yeah.
oh
Well, I
yes,
think-
he helped my country, built me a bridge. I decided to name myself instead when I moved here.
Yeah.
I think if he turns up at PMC4, that's going to be the first question someone asks him. What's it like being called Ernie?
Mm-hmm.
And
Also, I think as Jake brought up in his Harmony and Discord review, is it just me, or given that they're drastically different characters, do Mr. Burley and Ernie act way too much the same?
they're both just kind of out of it in different ways. And I'm not entirely sure. I can see with Mr. Burley, he's the eccentric conspiracy theorist, but I'm not really sure what Shailesh's deal is yet.
I don't know.
Whereas we like to refer
Anywho.
to Ranger Vision, we call him Orange Falcon.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I approve that
Is that
joke.
orangey?
But I believe that our topic was the actual Prince Takes Night episode.
Yes, we kind of got off topic there, but yes.
I apologize. I know I can go off on tangents.
No, trust me, we do it all the time. That's why there's usually severe editing in these things, and why they go on for hours and hours because we go so far into tangents. But that's what editing is for.
I get to understand the inner workings.
Exactly, it's amazing.
So interesting.
So anyway, so that's anybody else want to say anything about the actual Prince Takes Night episode?
The fact that you guys are having a bromance right now, it's actually too heartwarming to interrupt. So carry on.
Oh,
So sweet.
Moving
on. What?
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool so far. I mean, I like the fact that when I, now that I've started watching a bit more of him, it's sort of like, okay, I'm starting to get this cat. He kind of reminds me of anyone here played Mass Effect.
no, I honestly, I've watched people play Mass Effect, but I get too distracted by the pretty graphics, and I just sort of melt.
Right. He kind of reminds me of Legion from Mass Effect.
Yes. Wait,
Anyone else?
this episode, was this the one where he got captured?
Yes, Prince Takes Night.
Episode. That's like the one episode of Megaforce I did see.
Really? Even I saw it, and I've been pretty.
And it's not aired in your country yet.
I know. That's one of my
But
favorite-
hey, it's on Hulu if you can access Hulu.
I believe the Hulu is region locked. I think.
I have no idea who's talking from what country, but if you have access to Hulu, it is on Hulu.
Hakumen, England. So yes, Prince Takes Night overall, not a bad episode.
It was okay. I still don't like Robo Knight, to be honest. I'm sorry. He is Robo Knight. I'm sorry. Just no.
What did you think of how he summoned his Knight brothers?
That was actually kind of cool. I didn't see that coming. I know I probably should have, but honestly, it actually did surprise me. It was sort of like, whoa, the fuck?
I just want to know what a sky lion is.
Likewise.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
What
It's
is a
Chimera.
sky lion?
Chimera.
I know what a sea lion is. I have no idea what a sky lion is.
Lion.
Yeah, it's Chimera.
Is it like a griffin?
I
That's
believe
what I was
he
saying,
said.
but a griffin has a beak. So
Oh yeah, it's a bird.
Actually, if it were a griffin, I think that would be acceptable because we already got a phoenix and a dragon. We can have a griffin.
This is true. It works.
You know what? I think I'm gonna make it a griffin now, because I can call things.
It's official. DP has declared it a griffin. You heard it.
it is law.
This is great because I actually haven't written the review for Prince Takes Night at the time of this recording, so I may sneak that in there.
All right. If you do, do we get a credit in the end credits?
No.
I might give you guys a little random shout out if I spot for it. Because I gave Dan's Toku Rants a little shout out when I stole their never-ending story joke.
Speaking of which, Dan, if you're listening, the offer still stands. Media Master, let us know if you change your mind.
Funny enough, I will say this though. I mean, I get that it's a show for kids, but Is it wrong that I kind of want the villains? Vrak. How do you say his name again? Sorry, I'm terrible at remembering.
But that's like,
Well, that depends. Are you referring to Rock or V-Rock?
The first.
It has now been confirmed by, now that the character has introduced himself, it has been confirmed as Brock.
Yeah, that's right. That did happen in Prince Titan.
Yeah.
That Rumble
We
episode, yeah.
have an update from Blake Foster.
Oh, live update, ladies and gentlemen. Well, sort of live.
Holy
Live at the
shit.
time of the recording.
Let's hear it.
Oh, fine. And I quote, "Hi guys, I have been asked daily if I'm returning to Power Rangers. Let me set the record straight. I would be honored to suit up and show everyone what a grown-up Justin Stewart is capable of after so many years. But there is a Ranger code, and I'm sure everyone knows that until Megaforce is released, none of the Rangers will release any knowledge of what's to come. Would you really want to know? So my advice to all my Blue crew is to stay tuned, and let's hope everyone gets to see their favorite Rangers kicking monster butt in Megaforce. Shift into Turbo."
Now can you do that in opera? I
No.
better get.
I
Okay.
will leave the classical music to you and your trained voice.
Okay, fair enough. Do it faster, more intense.
Hashtag hi Mole. Anyway, let's move along here. I think we've exhausted this topic of discussion.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into detail in my thoughts because
Yeah,
obviously.
But
But you guys feel free to elaborate.
Well,
you know, I'm starting to like Barack. I think he's pretty cool for a villain, and you know, that's starting to grow on me because it's no secret to anyone here apart from DB, since he's literally just got here. No secret to anyone here that I like nihilistic artsy shit, and I love villains who have a bit of bite to them. You know, they're not all just sort of like, oh, I'm going to kill you in the library of Zod or whatever, and they don't actually fucking do shit about it. It's like, dude, right? I like
so
this guy.
you don't like black or white characters.
Correct.
You like a little shades of gray. Not
Oh, yeah,
Rock is nicely deliberate in his actions. He picks and chooses his battles very deliberately.
Yeah,
which is nice.
it's kind of thought out, and it's not just sort of right, boom, go here, kill them. It's like sort of no, wait, I know when to hold, I know when to hold back, I know when to get my hands dirty, and I know when to stay the fuck out and let someone else do the monkey work. And I love it.
He's a bit of a cerebral villain, and that's nice because we haven't really gotten too many of those as of late.
Yeah,
indeed.
It's good to say that again.
Let's move on.
So, with that, speaking of V-Rock, it's been heavily hinted that he's probably going to be our connecting relative to Super Megaforce, which leads us into our discussion topic.